Welcome everyone. We are starting now. The next panel will be about European Digital Innovation Hub Manufacturing Network. In total, this session will be divided in 5 parts. The last one will be a question and answer session. So you can start prepare your questions for our speakers. At the end, they will be pleased to answer your questions. We will start the first part of this panel with institutional guest, Mr. Sandro Delia from European Commission and Mrs. Valentina Carlini from Confindustria. They will they are ready, I guess, in video with us. And the title of this part of the panel is The European Union and Italian Perspective on European Digital Innovation Hub. And after these two speakers, Professor Marco Taish will be with us on the stage.
So, good morning to everybody. Buongiorno a tutti. My name is Sandro Delia. I work in the European Commission dealing with the digital transformation of industry. And I will try to tell you something about what we are doing, especially with the network of European Digital Innovation Hubs for the manufacturing. Okay, can you please show the slide that I have prepared? I would like to put, let's say, the activities that we are doing in practice a little bit in the context of what the European Union is doing in general at policy level. In the nice pictures that you see, on the top left, you see a compass. This is the so-called digital compass, which is for us the set of indicators of the digital decade, the umbrella policy that the European Commission, let's say, developed for digitalization of industry and society in the coming decade. The digital compass gives us very specific targets for 2030 in terms of infrastructures, so digital infrastructure, e-government, skills, which are a very significant problem, especially in Italy, and digitalization of business. It's very interesting at general level, but let's look at what is the real objective. When we talk about business in particular, our model is fundamentally the Industry 4.0 model for digitalization, which is based on the use of digital technology to improve all the steps, let's say, of manufacturing and all the quality of the products. And is based on the concept of smart factory. Industry 4.0 has been and is today a very successful approach, which has been adopted by all industrialized countries. And I think it is a brand name, a European brand name. It was developed initially in Germany, but with a lot of support from European Union in general. Is a brand name which is important for European industry, is a synonym of quality and flexibility. And has been used, especially in large companies, which are very much advanced in the use of smart factory. Then recently we had the pandemics, and we discovered that there are, maybe the idea of smart factory is not enough. What happened? We have seen that what is most important in manufacturing beyond the efficiency, beyond the speed going to the market and so on, is also the flexibility. The pandemic was a lesson because we have seen that companies which are more digitalized were able to continue working or to rearrange their working procedure in a better way. Then we discovered also independently from the pandemic that the value chains that we are using in the global world of today are very, very fragile. It's enough that a ship stops the Suez Channel for a few days, and you feel the problems everywhere in the world. All the value chains are connected. The world is small, is complex, and it's simply not enough to have a very smart factory if you cannot control, if you don't have information on what's happening outside. Of course, technology cannot be a solution for this. There are, problems which have to be managed at political level, depend on the role of Europe, the strategic autonomy of Europe, and so on. But it's clear that technology should give us also a view of what is happening outside of the smart factory. And then there is another thing, there is the climate change. I mean, how will people, economy, ecosystems be affected by climate change? We don't know, honestly. And it's likely that what we have seen with the pandemic is just, a first hint of what will happen with the climate change, that has the potential to disrupt very, very much our economy, our life in general. So just, to give the context, it's clear that we need to improve the Industry 4.0 model, which is not yet well deployed, let's say, it's not yet everywhere, but to go beyond that, to look also at the aspects which are related to the value chain, to the environment, and so on. And it's also clear that digital technology is not the only solution, cannot be the only solution, but is a very important part of the solution because it can enable the flexibility and the resiliency which is needed in industry. So in practical terms, which are the level of intervention? The European Union is, with the Horizon Europe project, the research project, is working on new technologies for industry. But at the same time, we need to build capacity to deploy the technologies which are existing through, all the economy of Europe. In practice, we know that many SME do not have even basic digital skills. And those SMEs are the core of European industry. In many countries, they employ the biggest part of industry, of people working in industry. So that's why we developed the concept of Digital Innovation Hub, which is supposed to be an organization which helps company to digitalize their business without the need to go far away. They have to be local, they have to be within working distance from the SME, and they will offer a set of services. You see on the left of the screen the services of the Digital Innovation Hubs, which are mainly test before invest. What does it mean? It means that if I am a small company, I may need some new technology, but I don't know exactly if it is good for my business, if I can afford it. So the hub will give the possibility to play with the technology, to verify if it can be integrated in the value chain, and only after that to make the investment. It will support to find investments, because you know that is maybe very difficult to find for a small company to move between all the possible grants and tax breaks and all the possibilities that there are to support your business. It will support skills and training, and especially will build an innovation ecosystem. So we want that the Digital Innovation Hub, the European Digital Innovation Hubs, are a network across Europe to allow, let's say, information to flow and to exchange best practices and also business opportunities. So that's why we believe that a hub will be like Janus, an old god of ancient Romans, which had two phases. Because on one side, the hub has to do most of their daily work. The big thing that the hubs do will be helping SMEs in doing a simple thing like installing an ERP system, like integrating to technologies, like making a training course for their employees and things like that. But when needed, the hub will not be alone. The hub, through a structure which will be called the Digital Transformation Accelerator, will be able to contact any other hub in Europe. So if the small company in Portugal needs support for I don't know, say, a supercomputing center which can do simulation of something, they may not have the capability in-house to do this, but they can, through the Digital Transformation Accelerator, contact another hub in another member state, like in Italy, where there is a Sineca, which does this kind of things as a business, and they can help them to find the technology and to make good use of it. The last thing that I want to say is that this network of European Digital Innovation Hubs will be launched shortly. We will have a call opening next month. after long delays, but it's not something completely new. It's based on a lot of initiatives. What you see on the right, bottom right of the slide is the list of existing digital innovation hubs that exist today, which were funded through Horizon 2020 or through national funds or through many other different things. So it's a kind of model which already exists, and that with the new Digital Europe program, through this call for the European Digital Innovation Hubs, we hope to improve a lot and to make a real network that will contribute a lot to the recovery of economy in Europe through the digitalization. And that's all. I don't know if I spoke too much, but I hope that I gave an idea of what we are trying to do in the European Commission.
Now you are perfectly in time. Thank you very much to Mr. Thank you very much.
Sandro Delia.
Sandro Delia, sorry, from European Commission. And we are going to welcome the next speaker from Confindustria, Valentina Carlini.
The Department for Industrial Policies and Sustainability, and I'm dealing with the Industry 4.0 since 5 years, more or less. So we already had in the past edition of the Manufacturing Forum the opportunity to describe our network, the Digital Innovation Hub network of Confindustria. So I'm not going to make a new presentation of them, but I believe it is important and useful to remember where we come from and which is our origin, to explain how we are approaching the participation to the European digital network, to the initiative that Sandro Delia very well described just now. We can go to the slide, and very, very quickly to explain our origin, I just want to remind that we go back very quickly to 2017 when the Italian National Plan for Industry 4.0 was released. And one of the main important objects of the plan was that was the creation of an innovation network, of a network for the Innovation 4.0 network. And it was very important because it's necessary to foster and support the digital transformation of companies, and above all of the small and medium enterprises, as for all the reasons that Sandro Delia already mentioned. To this aim, the plan has highlighted the need to create a network. You see that this network is based on two main pillars. On one side, we have a digital innovation hub, and on the other side, a competence center. They are two different organizations with different but absolutely complementary tasks and roles. And as you know, maybe you know, the Digital Innovation Hub are created and organized by Confindustria and by other business associations, while Competence Center are private-public partnership, which include private companies, university, research centers, and in which university have the leadership of the project. If we go to the next slide, I can very, very quickly show how is composed our network, the Confindustria network. So we have a digital innovation hub with a regional or sometimes inter-regional dimension, but they are very close to businesses because they have access points spread throughout the country, the territory. So it is possible because they are closely related with the Association of Confindustria. And what they do and what they have done so far, you can see it in the slide. I just want to mention large number of companies that got in touch with the Digital Innovation Hub, and this thank you to the workshop, the meetings, the conferences that Digital Innovation Hub organized in these last years. And I would like to stress the 1,600 companies that were assessed by the Digital Innovation Hub using an important tool elaborated by the Politecnico di Milano, Milan Politecnico, which is very important, allow a very deep analysis of the digital maturity of companies. I would like also to drive your attention of some important projects that our digital hub are carrying on in this period. They are working with the value chains. It is very important because, as you know, in Italy we don't have many large companies, so it's more difficult to involve small and medium companies in this transformation. And we believe that working with the leaders, industrial leader, is very important because they are able to involve and to give a boost to the digital transformation of the value chain. This big industrial player choose and select the most important suppliers for their activity, and then they involve them in this digital assessment. And the program is that after the digital assessment, they are oriented to the competence center. We go to the next slide, but just a flash to remind you, to explain how we are, which is the role of the Digital Innovation Hub. So you see they are a bridge between companies and the innovation ecosystem, which is populated by many actors. We have demo centers, startup, university, and so on. But we have also competence center, and I put them in yellow in evidence because we believe that they are the most important subject in this period. We believe that they have this important role because of their specific competencies and high specialization in digital transformation. So that's why I put them in evidence. Then we go to the next slide. And the next slide, just because we strongly believe that in this ecosystem, competence center have a specific importance. Last year, 1 year ago, we decided to share a cooperation agreement. So Digital Innovation Hub Competence Center decided to sign this cooperation agreement where were defined the activities to carry on, of course, taking into account the skills and their abilities. So you see that Digital Innovation Hubs can carry on out for a competence center the digital maturity assessment, can elaborate a roadmap of possible project areas for companies that want to be assessed. I mean, they can do scouting, identification of companies interested in Competence Center. On the other side, you see that Competence Center will make available to businesses laboratories, demonstration, can do proof of concept, technological scouting, support projects, and so on. Now, this is the framework we're working, and if we go to the next slide, we can see that this agreement, a very important point of this agreement, concerns the participation in the European project for the establishment of the European Digital Hub Network. Sandro Delia already explained the definition of what a European Digital Hub has to do, so it's very clear and specific activities. And Digital Innovation Hub Competence Center decided to collaborate in order to create subjects that are actually capable of carrying out all the activities indicated by the Commission. So they thought it was important to exploit their respective expertise by creating aggregation of entities which altogether are able to meet the European requirements. We are convinced that it is an opportunity for our Digital Innovation Hub and for Italy in general. So we really did a lot of work to promote these aggregations. And we strongly believe that Digital Innovation Hub and Competence Center have defined valuable projects, and we hope that they will find a place in the European network. Thank you.
Many thanks to Valentina Carlini from Confindustria. Now I would like to invite on the stage next speaker, Professor Marco Taish from MATE Competence Center Industry 4.0. Let me also remind you that this panel organized by MATE Competence Center Industry 4.0, BIREX, SIM 4.0, SMACT, and Digital Innovation Hub Lombardy. Professor Taish.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody, and good morning also to who's connected on streaming. The purpose of my presentation is to show you a concrete example of the implementation of what was just described by Mr. Delia. There is a call coming up, and a number of European, or let me say, pre-selected European Digital Innovation Hub by the various countries, by the various governments, are working together. They have started to work together in order to prepare for presenting a proposal to the next call, which is coming up. The rationale behind this initiative is the following. Even though European Digital Innovation Hub have to work at the regional level, that's what we heard a few minutes ago. We think that manufacturing is something which cannot be addressed at the regional level without having in mind the whole European Union, because there are a lot of lessons learned. Companies are working in supply chain, companies are working in different areas with different regions, buying components from other countries, selling products to other countries. For this reason, there is a need of a strong synchronization of all the local initiative, or all the regional initiative, if we really want to make and create impact for Europe. So what we have started to do is to create this network of, let me say, proposal of European Digital Innovation Hub in the area of manufacturing. And what we did, the approach we have taken is to go through the list of pre-selected proposal or initiative of European Digital Innovation Hub by the different countries in Europe. And we have contacted all of the proposals which are more related to manufacturing from one side, or which are located in areas, regions, where manufacturing is the economical backbone of the area itself. You see the map here. This is still an ongoing process. So far, we are in touch, but let me say we are in agreement with 19 European Digital Innovation Hubs in 19 regions. 14 countries are addressed so far. And as you can see, there is a strong rationale behind this network, which is to go and to select the regions where the added value of manufacturing is very high, where the economy of that region is really based on manufacturing. You can easily recognize the north of Italy, the Rhône-Alpes in southeast of France, Catalonia, the north in Portugal. We are working now in contact with the Basque Country. You don't see it already here, but we are having connection with them. Ile-de-France. As regards Germany, we have Baden-Württemberg and Bavaria, and the northeast area close to Netherlands, Denmark, the southeast and southwest of Sweden, and Tampere, and also Greece and a few other countries in the east of Europe. By connecting, or by addressing, by involving all these regions, this is the impact that we are going to create. You see here, we are addressing, or let me say, the areas, the regions that are involved in this initiative are accounting for 37% of the European GDP. But if you go down to the manufacturing added value, which is what is interesting for us, we are even a little bit higher. 39% of the European manufacturing value added is considered by this network, and it's 25% of the European company. This is the impact that we are going to address, we are going to create. Of course, each proposal is independent because they have to work at the national or regional level, but the joint collaboration of the 19 will create a stronger impact. And therefore, the question is, what kind of technologies are we going to address? What kind of sectors are we going to address? So you see here that manufacturing is a quite generic definition, but if we go down to a higher level of details, we are addressing aeronautical space, sustainable mobility, some industry related with sustainability and with eco, healthcare, agriculture, and food. Those are the sectors that we are addressing, and you see down in the bottom of this slide all the different technologies that we are somehow considering within the scope of this initiatives. What are we doing, and why, and what is the rationale for creating the network? Dr. Delia already described what a European Digital Innovation Hub is, but we think that the synergies and the higher impact which is coming by having a network of European Digital Innovation Hub is that because first, we can share best practices. We don't need, through the network, to reinvent the wheel. If one of the 19 has done something which is very interesting, which is effective, which works, why do not share this experience, these best practices with all the other 18s? Test before invest. Testing facilities are expensive. We think that is a waste of public money to replicate testing facilities in every single region. It's much more easier, effective, efficient from the taxpayer perspective to use facilities that are in other regions and in other countries if the facility is already there. When we talk about digitalization, we don't need to move people to do some testing. We can do tests remotely. And in this way, we are also, let me say, experiencing and testing what industrial remote working is, or smart working is, industrial smart working is. And in that way, we think that we are going to use better the taxpayer money. Skills and training. It's a waste of resources, it's a waste of time to recreate content that have been already created by other European Digital Innovation Hubs. It doesn't make any sense to have each one of us our own catalog of courses. We could create a shared catalog where we are, with a kind of cherry picking, goes to choose the best course on that topic, on that specific topic from one of the other colleagues belonging to the network. We can increase the spread of know-how, of technology transfer, innovation by, in this way, creating an ecosystem. The European Digital Innovation Hub purpose, one of the purposes is to create a local ecosystem, but multinational companies are working in different areas in different countries, and having, therefore, a European-wide innovation ecosystem is very important. We are not going to replicate, let me say this, initiatives which are already there in terms of innovation, in terms of ecosystem. There are initiatives which are there for years, even decades. They are working pretty well. We need to synchronize with them. We will synchronize with them. And why not? We think that this could be also an opportunity to create new projects and new initiatives and support those most, let me say, innovative company to have better access to European funds, to national funds, and to regional and regional funds. So these 4 areas are specifically the cross-border services portfolio that is let me say, the unique selling point of this network. I hope that this will be appreciated by the evaluator. This is our proposal. We are working on it. Let me say that we will do it anyhow, because we think that this is very relevant and as an initiative. Of course, if we will have the financial support from one side and the political support from the other side, we are able to have a better success and therefore create a higher impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Marco EDIH from MADE Competence Center Industry 4.0 for his introduction to EDIH manufacturing network. And now we are going to have next speakers for the third part of our panel, EDIH Manufacturing Network Italian Candidates, collaboration between competence centers and Confindustria's EDIHs. First speaker will be from Expand Piedmont in video, Mr. Paolo Brizzi from CIM 400 Competence Center. Welcome. Can you hear me? Mr. Brizzi, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, of course. Good morning, everybody.
Welcome, good morning. Meanwhile, Mr. Paolo Brizzi is ready in video. I am going to introduce the other speakers. Please come on the stage with me. Mr. Pietro Rosso from EDIH Piemonte Digital Innovation Hub. Mr. Rosso, welcome.
Thank you.
And from Veneto region, Neural, 2 partners, Mr. Matteo Fagin from SMACT Competence Center. Mr. Fagin, welcome. And in partnership with Mr. Fagin, Mr. Stefano Miotto from EDIH Veneto. Welcome, Mr. Miotto. And we have Mr. Stefano Cattorini from BREX++ from Emilia-Romagna region. Mr. Cattorini, welcome.
Thank you.
He will talk us also about EDIH Emilia-Romagna. We are ready to start this part of the panel, and I will give the word immediately to Mr. Paolo Brizzi from CIM 4.0 Competence Center.
Hello. Can you please start the slide also?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. My objective is to briefly introduce our proposition for the European Digital Innovation Hub, named Expand. And specifically, the name is interesting because it includes the regions which are involved, which are Piedmont and Aosta Valley, both in the northwest of Italy. Go to the next, please. Just really few words about the Competence Center sited in Torino. We are an organization composed by 23 enterprises, among them some big names known all over the world, like Eni, as well as SKF, Siemens, and so on, and other also big players really famous in the Italian ecosystem, like TIM, which is the main telco provider in Italy, and so on. Apart of them, we have also 2 universities, the main 2 in the northwest, which are Politecnico di Torino and University of Torino. Sorry, can you show again the slides?
Sure.
Okay. This is the proposal that we create to launch Expand at the European level. It includes a PA representative, which is CSI Piemonte, which is the main technology provider of the public administration in this region, but is also operative across Italy. We include the Chamber of Commerce in Turin, as well as Digital Innovation Hub Piemonte and the API Torino. together with two innovation poles, Torino Wireless and Polo Innovazione MESAP, which are related with the mechatronics and ICT ecosystem of network, small and medium, as well as startup, as well as big enterprises. We have a bank, which is Intesa San Paolo, and also a big research center sited in Torino and close to the Politecnico, which is the Links Foundation. We have some subcontractor in the fields of cybersecurity. The Cine Lab, for example, is well known all over Italy, and we also have schools and for higher education and incubators and other industrial and small and medium enterprises organization. But I would like to stress also the commitment of our authorities, the Piemonte region and the Valle d'Aosta region, which are promoting our initiatives. Go to the next one, please. Our main focus are related with the support to PA and companies, and specifically in two priority sectors, which are smart factory and made in, as well as smart and clean. Specifically, also accordingly to the history of this region, which is really focused on the aerospace and automotive application and stakeholders. These are the main application areas for us, but we are also considering from a side view also everything which is related with manufacturing, textile and agri-food, as well as a second priority also energy and sustainability, as well as citizen service and smart mobility. The main core technologies for us for this proposal are artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. And we are also promoting the key enabling technologies, mainly additive manufacturing, both metallics and plastics, as well as robotics and extended reality, Internet of Things, etc. I don't want to stress these buzzwords because you heard about them in thousands of congress before, but I'm just stressing the fact that some of them are becoming reality. Let's think to artificial intelligence. We see every day with interacting with the company that today is it actually possible to introduce artificial intelligence also in the manufacturing ecosystem, and also small and medium enterprise can use this type of solution and application. Go to the last one, please. Okay, we also already designed an organization of the proposal, the value proposition, which is related with the distribution of effort in order to avoid to do the same stuff several times. So at the moment we already identified the different responsibility for the institutional relation and financial relation managed by Intesa San Paolo. We also defined a scientific committee and an industrial board. This is just to underline that we already have prepared the plan for the future European Digital Innovation Hub, and since the completion of the first stage of the proposal, we started interacting with MAID and all the other competence center in Italy, as well as other proposal for European Digital Innovation Hub across Europe to create this collaboration as Professor Taish described before. Also for us and also for the European Commission, avoid to inventing the wheel is the mantra today. So I think, and we think as a competence center here, that doing a very good job altogether as a network is mandatory for the overall benefit for the companies and for the Europe. So I was very quick. So I can give the floor to the next one and then discuss all together.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paolo Brizzi from CIM, 4.0 Competence Center in partnership with Mr. Pietro Rosso. Mr. Pietro Rosso, welcome again. You are in partnership with Mr. Paolo Brizzi for Expand in Piedmont region. The word to you.
So, thank you very much. Thank you very much for everyone for being here. I'm Pietro Rosso, and I'm from the EDIH of Piedmont. Thank you, WMF, for having us here today. Today, we're going to talk about what we are doing as a digital innovation hub in our region, which is Piedmont and Aosta Valley. So, I'll start from the beginning. We were created from the so-called Piano Nazionale Industria 4.0 in 2017 in the competencies and skills pillar. So we have been created again with a digital transformation in mind. So the task was to create competence centers and digital innovation hubs. Dottoressa Carlini before explained very well how the relation that have been created between those kind of organization. And we started working with these objectives, and so far we have developed our business. I mean, we have developed our organization. So far we have been composed by 18 digital experts, so we grew a lot in those 4 years of activities. We are 18 digital experts, I mean, like a core team of engineers, of mathematicians, but also we have a very strong and capillary network thanks to Confindustria, which, by the way, is our main sponsor, our main founder. We are completely funded by Confindustria network, so it's as President Viscardi always says, it's a huge effort for Confindustria to create, sustain, and maintain this kind of activities. So far, we have created a network with more than 5,400 firms, which, by the way, are all the firms that are in the Confindustria network only in Piedmont. But we are planning to expand this in the few years. So as I was saying before, we have full coverage of the Northwest region. We have mostly at least one person for every province, for example, in Turin or in Biella or in Aosta, because the thing is, companies are very different from one place to the other, so we need to be there in order to address their problem. I will cite one important thing, which is the digital maturity assessment. Is a name, is a slang that is very used these days, and it represents the main tool that digital innovation hubs developed in order with the Polytechnic of Milan in order to address the specific digital transformation problems. We've done more than 370 digital maturity assessments in 4 years, and all of them, most of them, except from COVID-19 period, were held in person. So we went and visited the actual company and visit the actual entrepreneur. So all industries are involved. As you can imagine, we have in every region there's a predominance of some kind of industries, but there are more. So of course, metal workers represent like the 15%. So if you look at the biggest slices of this cake, you will see metal workers, you will see chemicals, pharmaceuticals, you will see textile industries, you will see food industry. So we try to address all the potential companies that are interested into digital transformation. And we are focused on SMEs, because as Sandro Delia said before, SMEs are the backbone of the GDP creation of our country and all over Europe. So as you can see from the graph, we have addressed mostly small and medium enterprises. They represent 90% of our daily basis jobs. So what do we do? We create awareness and access to the ecosystem. Basically, we are the gate for entering this ecosystem of digital and sustainable transition. So we talk to people that are already informed, but also to those who are not. to those who are curious to understand what's beyond Industry 4.0. So what's beyond the financial advantages of all of these kind of buzzwords that are being used these days. So we do so by communicating. We communicate a lot. We held a lot of webinars. We had a lot of in-person meetings. We create awareness, so we try to explain why it's good to have digital technologies in-house, to develop digital competencies in-house. And we try to disseminate by Fabbrica Vetrina, by other projects, so to show the entrepreneurs what's the good things about digital transformation. With the assessment, we try to push the companies to develop an awareness and go towards what's the Europe network and towards expand. We have received some strong support from some of our partners. I will go very quickly showing you, for example, Fundació per la Indústria in Barcelona or Minalogic in Grenoble expressed their support for the Digital Innovation Hub to go towards the digital network, Digital Europe Network. And so we are very honored to participate in the open call with CIM 4.0 in the selection of EDIH. I think this should be a natural evolution and expansion of activities for the whole network of both digital innovation hubs and competence centers. So as last slide, I will be very quick. Where does the DIHP fit? I think the DIHP mostly fit on these two areas that are highlighted in yellow, Test Before Invest and Innovation Ecosystem and Networking. Because as we've already seen before, the themes are awareness creation, digital maturity assessment, showcase of technologies, horizontal and vertical integration, if we are talking about Test Before Invest. If we're talking about innovation ecosystem and networking, we are talking about access to innovation ecosystem, CIM 4.0 and other competence centers, and also to create this bridge between SMEs and technology transfer entities. So we would like to be the left part of the Janus demon from ancient Rome, and we're trying to push forward towards the right. So thank you, everybody.
Mr. Rosso, thank you very much for your contribution. Please stay with us on the stage. Now we have another example of excellent collaboration between Digital Innovation Hub of Confindustria and Competence Center. This time we are going to wonderful Veneto region, and for Neural there is this partnership between Matteo Faggin from SMACT Competence Center and Stefano Miotto from EDIH Veneto, Digital Innovation Hub Veneto. And we are going to start with Mr. Faggin from SMACT. Welcome again.
Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting us. In Veneto, we decided to take the chance of this European Digital Innovation Hub call to make some order, let's say, to bring together all the entities that could add value in the process of digitalization of small and medium enterprises in one large consortium. So if I can have the slides, please.
Sure.
Yes, thank you. So Neural stands for Veneto Hub for Artificial Intelligence and Blockchain, and is the official candidate for the Veneto region. We are, in fact, the only candidate for the Veneto region so far. The consortium partners, as I said, all relevant entities for the region are working in the digitalization space. In particular, as SMACT Competence Center, we bring, most importantly, the universities and research centers for the region, so Università di Padova, Università Venezia Ca' Foscari, as well as UAV in Venice, as well as Università di Verona, and National Institute for Nuclear Power, ENFN. Plus the other universities of the Tri-Veneto, because SMACT is not only Veneto. And 30 company and a community that is growing. But together with us, there are other core partners, starting with the Confindustria Digital Innovation Hub, other digital innovation hubs that are active in the region, as well as the technology parks and other actors like the Camere di Commercio. plus highly relevant entities. We brought up the bank Intesa San Paolo, as well as European Institute of Technology Manufacturing South, Infocamere, Area Science Park, and Univeneto. So this is a large partnership. As I said, all the institutional partners of the region that can bring value to the table. To whom? To small and medium enterprises, as we know. As you probably don't know, Veneto is the third largest region in Italy for gross domestic product. 99% of companies, total companies almost 500,000, but 99% of them are small and medium enterprises. And 95% are really micro companies, less than 10 employees. So a total of 1.7 million workers, but really dispersed, let's say, in a large network of small companies collaborating together. They are innovators, yes they are, but they are market-driven, and they work in networks. So they do innovate, they do adopt technologies when they see value, as in this graph, when they gain flexibility in product portfolio, process efficiency, increase in international competitiveness, reduction of costs, and even environmental sustainability. So, as a digital innovation hub, we aim at serving them with the technologies that are closer to this type of customer, let's say. So we found out of the three topics possible, we found that artificial intelligence ought to be our main one, with an eye to blockchain, let's say. Because if artificial intelligence is nowadays the technology for today, blockchain is the technology for tomorrow. Serving all the small and medium enterprises that are in the radar, let's say, of the smart specialization strategies for the Veneto region, including manufacturing, which is, of course, 25% of the regional GDP, so it's pretty relevant, together with creative industry, sustainable living, agri-food, which is another very important sector. And talking about creative industry, Veneto is the region with the most access for tourism in Italy. So it's another sector that is very, very important. Well, as you know, the four pillars, I will not go into the details, but let's say we are applying this consortium, all the partners are applying their best practices into these four pillars. As a competence center, we are, of course, active somehow in all of them, but we are eager to collaborate with our partners, including, and I leave the floor to him, Stefano Miotto of the Digital Innovation Hub for Veneto. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matteo Faggin. And welcome again to Stefano Miotto from Digital Innovation Hub Veneto.
Yes, good morning to everybody. I'm really glad to be here. And I just use this slide, and I'd like to do some consideration. No, not the previous, please. Some consideration about the aspect that Matteo underlined. What is the challenge that we have in front now? We have, as Matteo said, we have a region with a lot of small enterprises. You have to think that we have one entrepreneur per 10 inhabitants, so maybe is the rate, the highest rate, entrepreneurial rate in the world. So, but this means that the size is very, very small. Another thing very important of our region is that most of our enterprises are B2B, which means that don't have the direct market, and which means that they are used to find solution looking at the big customer, not looking at the research world, not looking at the university. So, I mean, we have to help these enterprises to open the gate, to have a system of open innovation in order to support their transformation and their competitiveness. So, starting from this point, we are trying to work in Industry 4.0, and our approach is to try to spread knowledge in our enterprises. So this is our mantra. We have to spread knowledge in the enterprise. How? Valentina Carlini mentioned the assessment, which is in the test before invest function. The assessment is very, very important, as the colleague of Piemonte mentioned before, because it's not important the instrument, but it's very important the manager that we use in order to provide this instrument, because this is a very important education and consultancy action for the enterprise, because in this way you can highlight all the problem, all the improvements area that the enterprise can work on. And this is a very important instrument that we are using in a very massive way, because really it's really helpful for the enterprises. We have another very interesting instrument that we started in our region, and that now it's a good practice, a national good practice. And this instrument is called the project of 100 places of Industry 4.0. What is this project? We think that starting from our economic base, starting from our enterprise, that the emulation effect for this enterprise is very important. And very often in the 4.0 matters, it's very, it's not a matter of research in the companies, but it's more a matter of innovation and knowledge. So they have to know that there are solutions that they can adopt in their enterprise. And very often the entrepreneurs are not aware of this possibility. So we started this project 3 years ago, and we create a network of living labs. But the living labs are not laboratory of the universities, are our enterprises. So we create a network of enterprises, and these enterprises are must have advanced solution on Industry 4.0 in order to show this solution. But on the other side, they must be available to show this solution to other entrepreneurs, to stakeholders, to Confindustria. We started this project before the pandemics, and with we now have 50 enterprises involved in this project at regional level. And there are much more enterprises involved at the national level, because Confindustria adopted this project as good practice. What happens in our project? We started a roadshow in these enterprises. We had 5 events in the enterprise before the pandemics, and now we are organizing webinars, and we already organized 8 webinars. In the 8 webinar that we organized after during the pandemics, we had more than 1,000 entrepreneurs which attended to this event. And what what is the lesson learned from this? Really, this process of emulation are raising on one side. On the other side, really create a network of entrepreneurs. So we put together small, medium enterprises which are willing to cooperate in Industry 4.0. So I think that we will go on with this approach. It will be an ingredient of the receipt on the European Digital Innovation Hub, because assessment on one side, the Fabbriche Vetrina, as we call the project at national level, on the other side, and skills and training can be really effective for all our ecosystem. Last minute about the innovation ecosystem and networking. This is another very important matter, because for small, medium enterprises, the network is one of the main important aspects. And this is why Confindustria Veneto participate to the majority of the regional cluster recognized by the Veneto region. We have 20 clusters, and we are involved in 15 of them. This is very important because we have some clusters dedicated to 4.0, to Industry 4.0, but we have many clusters that even of other sectors, but they are working on this project, a project of Industry 4.0. So this is our approach. I think that we can, there is a lot of potential develop about the artificial intelligence and in the future on blockchain. But we are now starting from zero, more or less. Thank you.
Mr. Miotto, thank you very much for your contribution. And we are going to have our next speakers, Mr. Stefano Cattorini from BREX++ from Emilia-Romagna region. He will also talk about the EDIH Emilia-Romagna to us.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. I am Stefano Cattorini. I'm the General Manager of BREX, the Industry 4.0 National Competence Center with focus on big data. Together with me, even if it's not physically, we are also partnership with the Digital Innovation Hub Emilia-Romagna, and you will see soon. Can you put on the slide, please? So I will speak briefly about the BREX++ EDI candidate. BREX++, we start with the name. Stands for the first plus, so BREX, who is the coordinator, the competence center with focus on big data. Our object is HPC and big data processes for industry, mainly manufacturing industry. We are leveraging on, again, the plus of the competence center already operative and in place, in particular when it comes to HPC, with the assets that together Cineca, INFN, Eni, and industry sector is already part of BREX. On top of it, we have added some other plus in order to complement and be able to deliver the services required by EDIC. In particular, we put together the Digital Innovation Hub of the different associations, Confindustria, Legacoop, and CNA. We are leveraging on the competence when it comes to advanced computing, AI, and cybersecurity, which are crucial when you work on HPC, of Atos, Cini, Laboratorio for HPC. And we are reinforcing also the networking part with the AET manufacturing, the International Fondazione Big Data, and the access to finance with Warrant Hub. Our going a bit more in detail with our proposal, we have drafted already, I would say, the partner roles in the different services, so mapping them with the services that BREX++ will deliver. Main focus, main effort will be put on test before invest, where among the services, a crucial role will be played by the Digital Innovation Hub in the assess phase, orientation phase, providing maturity model using innovation toolbar. Networking and digital skills are also two crucial phases where we have reinforced our partnership. I mentioned already the Cini role together with the university. We are originally a PPP, so we have in BREX already research, university, and industry working together. We have the assets. Cineca, INFN, and Eni already now represent 90% of calculation capability in Italy and number 2 in Europe and among the first 10 worldwide. Aside, we need to work on the competence and on the model. So we started already with a European project together with Cineca that is called EuroCC, where we are putting together services for SMEs based on HPC as a services. This experience is helping us to design what will be the model of EDIC. And then, of course, access to finance as a crucial activity. We can leverage on Intesa San Paolo. This is one of our BREX original partner, together reinforced with Warrant Hub. The next few slides, I try to describe the three-dimension corridors, so the strategy we are pursuing in building up already now alliance. The first one are based on competence on HPC infrastructure. So we decided with 3 other HPC centers, Barcelona, who is involved in EDIH for CAT, Stuttgart, who is involved in DAA, and Teratech, who is involved in many opportunities, but mainly in digital, to start working on a corridor in order to have in front of common HPC challenges a common business opportunity approach based on 4 clear objectives. Identify common training, identifying common matchmaking events, even sharing and exchange clients, and best practice sharing and assessment. Second corridor strategy is based instead on manufacturing industry structure and is based on the friends here together with me today in the panel. So we focus on EDIC candidates coordinated by other Italian competence centers with a clear focus on manufacturing industry. The idea, again, is to work both on complement technology focus. We are the only one candidate with a clear main focus on HPC, and we can put this competence available to the others, but complementary each other in terms of services and geographical scope. The last corridor, or let me say strategy, is to be complementary and fully synergic with the other candidate coming from Emilia-Romagna, the one led by Arthur and called ER2Digit. The complementarity and synergy is very clear, since we are the HPC and big data processing candidate for industry. You see the sector, but manufacturing and automation is our mainly focused target, while instead ER2Digit will be focused on digitalization of the public administration. Over there, HPC and big data services will be focused for public proximity services to PA and public community. In this way, we are also working on further collaboration corridors with the subject you can see there, mainly 2 in Hessen, North and South, France and Poland, with according to the same split of focus and to the same complementary and synergic way of working. Thank you very much. This is our contacts.
Many thanks to Mr. Cattorini from BREX++ Emilia-Romagna. Please stay with us for the next part of our panel. We heard from local candidates in Italy. Now we are going to explore European candidates. But before, please let me introduce you Mrs. Maria Rossetti from EDIH Lombardia. She will be with us in this part of our panel, which called EDIH Manufacturing Network Candidates, a perspective from the 4 motors for Europe. Mrs. Rossetti, welcome. Now I am going to introduce the next speakers. We have in video connections from Germany, Mr. Ahmed Issa, and from France, Mrs. Annabelle Sion, and from Catalonia, Mrs. Pepa Sedo. I hope my pronunciation is right. Welcome all. We have also Paolo Brizzi from CIM 4.0 Competence Center still with us, and previous part speakers are on the stage with us. I am going to start with Mr. Ahmet Isa. He is a senior scientist in Fraunhofer Institute for Manufacturing Engineering and Automation, IPA, and he is here for digitization point beyond point BW Baden-Württemberg, Deutschland. Mr. Isa, welcome again.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Can we please have the slides? Thank you very much. My name is Ahmed Issa, representing Digitization Beyond BV, Digital Innovation Hub, which is one of the candidates for becoming a European Digital Innovation Hub in the region of Baden-Württemberg in Germany. Our European Digital Innovation Hub is actually built on years of experience in supporting SMEs that our consortium organizations have been providing in the region of Baden-Württemberg, especially through different competence centers, as well as collaborations across Europe with other top organizations like the ones that we are hearing from today. Next slide, please. The main objective of our European Digital Innovation Hub is to play the dual role that Mr. Sandro De Lea was talking about, where we will have both local and European functions. On a European level, we would like to contribute to digital and sustainable EU manufacturing industry transformation in collaboration with various European Digital Innovation Hubs in the network. A key point for our local European Digital Innovation Hub is to foster the transition from Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0. Actually, we have been working on different pillars of Industry 4.0 for over 5 years now, human-centric resilience and sustainability. So, for example, we have one of the leading human-centric centers in Germany for digital transformation of the workplace called Future Work Lab, which is an innovation laboratory geared towards work, people, and technology. It pools our expertise in all aspects of Industry 4.0 as a starting point and is designed to provide manufacturing companies with a place that they can come with any questions that they have about the digitalization of the industrial value creation chain. On a local level, for your information, we have more than 1.6 million workers in the manufacturing sector and around 600,000 in the public sector. So for us, human-centric approach that promotes talents, diversity, and empowerment is key to put core human needs and interests at the heart of the production process. Next slide, please. So our European Digital Innovation Hub brings together 10 strong transfer partners from applied research, SME support, ICT providers from the Baden-Württemberg region. As you can see, those partners are involved in many numerous regional, national, and European transfer initiatives for digitalization, such as the Hub Future Industries in Stuttgart, Center for Digitalization in Böblingen, Artificial Intelligence Labs in Ostwürttemberg and Böblingen, the Center of Digital Transformation in Heilbronn, and others. The main task of the European Digital Innovation Hub, from our point of view, is to act as a one-stop shop in the region, orchestrating, coordinating, and communicating the services to the SMEs in order to address the needs of the different target groups. On the right-hand side, as you can see, our target group is divided into manufacturing SMEs on one hand side and the public sector organizations on the other, as well as other regions who we would like to use our services through the European Digital Innovation Hub network to support SMEs and public sector organizations there. We have different various stakeholders in our European Digital Innovation Hubs. You have, of course, the core partners, but we have the innovation networks that we are connected to. We have the multipliers like the Chamber of Commerce and so on that we are also using to communicate the services that we have to the target groups. Next slide, please. One thing that we would like to highlight, something we have as a best practice from our European Digital Innovation Hub, is that in order to support the various stakeholders, we have been working on identifying the various customer journeys for our target groups when they go through the digital transformation. And for each one of them, we have identified the main steps in their digital transformation journey. In addition, we have identified the various barriers at each step. For example, here you can see the different steps for a sub-target group, which is the technology adopters, the manufacturing SMEs in the manufacturing industry. And those are some of the barriers that we have identified. Next slide, please. For each one of those steps, for the technology adopters, and only under test before invest, we have already mapped the services from our EDIH partners and other ecosystems for every step in the journey, taking into consideration the barriers that we have identified in the previous slides. Those test before invest services provided to technology adopters in our region, for example, as you can see, we want to coordinate, orchestrate, and communicate these services, which is going to be one of our main tasks in our European Digital Innovation Hub to facilitate the digital transformation journey. And we would like also to offer this through the European Digital Innovation Hub network to other regions in Europe. One remark here is that different companies will start their journey at different steps with various digital maturity and different needs. So their own journey would be different from others. And that's why we are offering something we call a road mapping service, where we help the manufacturing SMEs identify where they are right now, where they want to be, and what is the journey that they need to take in order to digitally transform. Next slide, please. So what is our main value proposition to both local and EU regions? What we do is we offer a gateway to one of the main manufacturing regions in Germany with the potential to collaborate with highly innovative companies. We offer access to the best German high-level applied research and know-how and infrastructure on advanced manufacturing and digitalization. We work with companies across all levels of digital maturity from different regions in Europe, and we offer services that are customized to their needs and to their digital transformation journey. In addition, we are very deeply embedded within our ecosystem, but with a European outlook. We have a very strong collaboration over decades with other regions in Europe. And the Four Motors is just one example of such strategic collaborations and partnerships. Another one is the trilateral collaboration between Italy, Germany, and France. And we have been working, for example, with Professor Marco Taisch on such a collaboration. Next slide, please. So here's our contact. Thank you very much. And we are looking forward to collaborations with other European Digital Innovation Hubs in the network.
Thank you very much, Mr. Issa. Please stay with us. Now, from Germany, we come back to Italy, to the region which hosts all of us here in this wonderful location in Cernobbio, Villa Erba. We have Mrs. Maria Rossetti from EDIH Lombardia with us.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. May I have the slides, please? And welcome, of course, in one. We are happy to host you in one of the 4 EU motors. Okay. So today, no surprise, we are going to talk about the Lombardy EDIH proposals, EDIH Lombardia, which is coordinated by MADE competence centers. If we can go through the next slide, please, we will see one of our main value and goal, which is connecting the dots and the ecosystem of manufacturing network of one of the 4 EU motors, as well as one of the pillars of the most competitive regional networks. As you can see, where we coordinate a network of 15 partners, shifting from business associations, digital innovation hub, as well as regional technological clusters, and covering also the European corridors through the European, the EIT, both manufacturing and digital. If we go next slide, please, we can even acknowledge that we are already a teams who work together and who has already achieved big results toward the paving the path of SMEs toward the digitization transformation. Basically through developing technology transfer projects. As you can see, we do represent basically all the ecosystem, but implementing what is the mission that was already explained by Mr. Sandio Delia previously of Digital Innovation Hub, that is the being the one-stop shop through raising awareness, providing test before invest activities, and developing ecosystem and access to R&D funds. And for doing that, we have already developed, together also with our colleagues, a digital maturity assessment, which allow us, and especially our customers, to go toward the path and to better acknowledge their readiness in implementing or not the digitization transformation. And we are very happy to start this journey in developing these European manufacturing networks in order to expand and develop best and exchange best practice on how to optimize and offer these services also on a cross-regional level. If we go to the next slide, we can see actually what is the core, the heart of our mission, which is providing services to manufacturing SMEs. As you can see, we do represent not only the 20% of national GDP, but also the 25% of SMEs manufacturing. We have a quite broad coverage of all the value chain, even if our main core is the manufacturing, because in the end we cover all the process connected to discrete manufacturing. And as you can see, we really like to implement through our technology transfer project the concept of value chain by connecting our ecosystem through linking, university, but especially the knowledge of big companies and small and medium enterprises. And finally, if we go to the next slide, you can see just in a few words how we are implementing this in practice. We have already started working in the demo center of MADE with the main process of manufacturing that you can see here that actually cross 20 technologies use cases that we will be happy to share with all the companies and the networks that we are developing here through the services that have already been explained before. And yeah, that's it on my side. We are really looking forward to strengthen our cooperation and shaping the future of digital Europe together with all European digital innovation.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Rossetti from EDIH Lombardy for your contribution. Now we are going to France. We have next speaker from Polytronics, Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, Mrs. Annabelle Sion. She is chargée de mission project européen, interclustering, international European project from France. Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Welcome again.
Perfect. Thank you, and good morning or afternoon, everyone. It depends. Now it's the tricky time. Thank you for having me here presenting the French, the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes candidates to this European Digital Innovation Hub. So in Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, we have 2 candidates supported by the region and pre-selected by the French states. So I will present today Polytronics, which is the innovation hub I represent for Polymerase cluster, but we'll also give a few words on MinaSmart, supported by Minalogic, that was also mentioned by some of the previous speakers. So next slide, please. Thank you. So Polytronics is coordinated by Polymerase cluster. Polymerase is a national cluster in France focusing on the polymer industry, so plastics, composites, and rubber materials. And our digital innovation hub is actually focused on 3 French regions that are Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, Bourgogne-Franche-Comté, Centre-Val de Loire. We decided to focus our hub on a specific industry, which is the polymer industry, and on a specific technology based on artificial intelligence. Next slide, please. So to give you a bit of a background of the project, we are part as Polymerase of the AI Regio project coordinated by Politecnico di Milano, so partner from Lombardy region, that is gathering several initiatives from all around Europe, from, of course, the Ford Motors for Europe, in which our colleagues from Catalonia, Baden-Württemberg, and Lombardy are already presenting, and also from the Vanguard initiative. And so from this activities and through this Horizon 2020 project, we decided from Polymerase cluster to build a digital innovation hub around the polymer industry. So if we go to the next slide, thank you. So our focus is, of course, on manufacturing, and that's why we're also part of the EDIH manufacturing network. But we decide to focus especially on the manufacturing of polymer materials, so plastics, composite, rubbers, and technical textile. This is really important because we have in France a lot of manufacturers and companies and users as well in these sectors. Only from Polymerase cluster, there are around 500 companies that are focused on this industrial sector. And so we decided to cover 3 regions in France with this European Digital Innovation Hub to give a closer support for digitalization activities to the companies that are located in this region. It was quite a strategic choice there because we decided, we focused that the companies in this manufacturing industry, that is the polymer industry, are quite let's say traditional, and they will need a lot of support to implement digital tools, such as digital twin, sensors, IoT, and artificial intelligence, especially for their industry. So what we wanted to do is to be as close as possible to our companies, to our members, and so by focusing on these 3 regions, which are the main regions on this polymer industry, we can provide them also with very specific support to the digitalization activities. And that's why our European Digital Innovation Hub was endorsed by these 3 French regions. So we will be happy to collaborate with other partners to provide our knowledge on polymer materials, but also to receive knowledge maybe from other industry that could also bring good infrastructures, good knowledge, and maybe other technologies to the industry. So that's for Polytronics. And if we go to the next slide, I will say a few words about EDIH MinaSmart, that is also located in Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, and with which we collaborate a lot because, well, we are focusing on the same region and they're focusing on other technologies so that we can be complementary in the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region. So for MinaSmart, it's coordinated by Minalogic cluster that was mentioned before by a colleague of Piedmont region, if I'm not wrong. And so they will focus on artificial intelligence, high-performance computing, and cybersecurity. Their specificity is that they're very much focused on application sectors, so energy, health, mobility, transportation, chemistry and environment, and agri-tech, food tech, and textile as well, but not manufacturing of textile, but more about like retail and logistics. So they have a good network of dedicated clusters, all located in Rhône-Alpes, and they would like to focus on this industry to digitalize products, services, or process, so both traditional companies and technology companies. So for some of you who would be also interested, I put the contact of Pierre-Damien Berger, that is the leader of this EDIH, Mina SMACT. And afterwards, you have also a mapping, so on the next slide, please, of how the EDIH Mina SMACT is organized. So you see in the first center all the clusters, the regional clusters that are involved together with technical centers such as CEA and INERIA. And then you have in the, let's say, second circle, other associated partners. And well, several services to be implemented within this European Digital Innovation Hub also. So that's it for Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes and a bit of France. And so please don't hesitate to reach out to me or Pierre-Damien if you see a collaboration opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Annabelle Sion from France. And we are going to have next speakers from Catalonia. Mrs. Pepa Sedo. She is Air and Eye Policies and Funding Programs, Eurocat. And she is here for Catalonia Digital Innovation Hub, EDIH, for Catalonia.
Good morning. First, I want to thank the organization to give me the opportunity to present the Digital Innovation Hub of Catalonia. I'm from Eurecat, that is a technological center located in Catalonia. And as a technological center, our goal is to help the organizations to be more competitive through the technological innovation. We integrate multiple technologies divided into 4 main fields that are industrial, digital, biotechnology, and sustainability. And through this integrated offer, we are able to solve complex challenges to our clients and collaborators. So it's a pleasure to be here representing the European Digital Innovation Hub of Catalonia, which I'm going to briefly present now. Next slide, please. The Digital Innovation Hub for CAT, as all the other hubs that has been presented today, aims to be a one-stop shop support for digitalization of the organizations, especially SMEs and public administration. Next slide, please. For doing that, the Digital Innovation Hub of Catalonia is based on 7 technological nodes, each one for a different technological area. As it could be seen in the figure, is artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, high-performance computing, smart connectivity, 3D printing, robotics and advanced manufacturing, and photonics. All these nodes are coordinated by the government of Catalonia. In this way, we could offer this one-stop shop because at the end, the companies, especially the SMEs, don't care about or don't know exactly which technology or which combination of technology they need. It's a matter of going there, and then we will organize the technological offering. We have the different nodes coordinated with by RTOs and universities, and we are bringing together all the knowledge that we have and also all the infrastructures that could be really useful for the companies for these test before invest or whatever. Next slide, please. The services that we are offering, since I'm the last one, are similar, but more or less the same that the others. One of the services that we offer is information. Also, this technological and digital maturity diagnosis that we deliver to our clients a prioritized plan of actions and projects that they could do to achieve this maturity on digitalization. We have also, as I mentioned, the infrastructure for testing and experimentation. We also could help them to find a suitable partner at national, or at Catalan level, national level, or European level. Also, we could be useful helping them to find financing. And what is really important also is training, to be able to help them not just to have this plan, also to have the capacities to be autonomous in maturity when we finish the different services. Next slide, please. Now let's turn to the node of robotics and advanced manufacturing, which I represent, that EURECAT lead. This node brings together the top leading entities in Catalonia in knowledge generation and technology transfer in the field of advanced manufacturing and robotics. The node is continuing the activities and the role that the former Catalan Cluster for Industry 4.0 have been performing for more than 10 years. And now it's included under this umbrella of the EDIH for CAT with the same vocation, that is to facilitate the access to new technologies, especially to industrial SMEs, in order to improve their competitiveness and resilience through digitalization. So during this year, we have built a strong structure and mature network of collaboration based in the 4 motors of Europe, at European level, also at Spanish level, and also as an example, the Vanguard initiative, in particular the efficient and sustainable manufacturing pilot plans inside the Vanguard. This collaboration allows us to offer to the regional industry innovative solutions to common challenges. Okay, these pilot plans inside the SME of the Vanguard are open to companies, constituting a neutral and cooperative playground for cross-sectorial and inter-regional collaboration, facilitating to access the newest processes and technologies to all European manufacturing environment, but having a local or regional contact point, because otherwise, for many of the SMEs, will not possible to access it. So from a local, for the perspective, is a local point of contact, but they are accessing a European network of collaboration. So this is an example, but now with the European digitalization innovation hubs, we have again a great opportunity for continuing that. Okay, to continue the relationship among the regions that we think that has been very fruitful inside the Vanguard with the 4 motors or the IA Regio project that Annabelle mentioned. And we are excited to continue this with this new instrument that are the EDIs, building what we and our regions need for the future based on the experience and the relationships we gathered in the past and extending it to other EDI candidates. So that's all from my side, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pepa Sedo. Please stay with us because I have a question for you and for all the speakers present here. My question is, what is the added value of contributing to EDIH manufacturing network. I am going to start Mr. Ahmed Issa, and then the same question to Mrs. Rossetti and Annabelle Sion and Pepa Sedo, Paolo Brizzi, Pietro Rosso, Matteo Fagin, Stefano Miotto, and Stefano Cattorini. I will kindly ask you to answer very briefly so we can have also a question and answer session from the public. Thank you very much. Mr. Issa.
Thank you very much. We believe that being part of a European Digital Innovation Hub manufacturing network is actually crucial for us as a European Digital Innovation Hub partner, as well as the target groups in our region. Let me briefly talk about two main points here. The first one is the development of cross-regional value chain projects with shared technologies. The ongoing regional and national policies and initiatives are quite key in supporting regional value chains. However, the main challenge that we see is the difficulty to systematically define a common agenda across various regions, given often the competing and at times diverging interests in the sectors. So most of these regional policies remain largely not sufficient to frame a truly coordinated effort to advance the transformation agenda and the Green New Deal on a European level. The second point is connecting digital manufacturing EU regions. We have seen over the past that the collaboration between these regions is fostering many new innovative technologies, products, and solutions, and advancing the prosperity of those regions. So while sharing, for instance, best practices and learning from each other. So the European Digital Innovation Hub Network will foster such collaborations and encourage the learning and the sharing where all the members of this network are part of, let's call it win-win situation, regardless of how mature they are.
Thank you very much to Mr. Issa. Mrs. Rossetti.
So basing on the very valuable input provided by Issa, I would start from this point, maybe going into some concrete examples, because of course the main added values is the development of cross-regional value chain by providing concrete services and concrete projects, such as example the development of inter-regional and cross-regional deductive factories that we are exploiting also in future and hopefully coming Digital Europe and Horizon Europe goals. That means that, just again, to be very concrete, because in the end we are talking about people, we're talking about companies and working together, we are really looking forward to bring Lombardy companies to make some experimentation in one of the labs that were quoted by our colleagues in Baden-Württemberg, or maybe inviting some industrial experts from manufacturing advanced materials from Ronalds here to help some training course, and as well as offering our infrastructure. And regarding the exchange of best practice, totally agree. As an example, now that we are in a preparatory phase, we are also trying to align on the business models and the customer journeys, because in the end we are a network of companies and regions who share already services, European projects. And yeah, that's it. And of course, to shape the future of Digital Europe together.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Rossetti. Mrs. Annabelle Sion. We can't hear you.
Said.
Yes.
You can hear me.
Now we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I totally agree with what was said before, and especially for us, as we are very much focused on a specific industry, the exchange of best practices is important. We can bring to other regions what we are doing in our own industry, in our own region, and learn from other industry, learn from other regions. So the exchange of knowledge practices is really important for us. I would like to mention also the fact that if we build a network in shaping Europe's digital future, and if we bring several regions together, we can maybe also have support from our region in the maybe funding opportunities in core regional investments, where we can bring also our companies and RTOs together in innovation project, in digitalization project, if we show that the network is strong and there are a lot of partnerships bringing, we can also have maybe influence on new policies for digitalization. So that would be one thing, and the other is to have this bigger network to also bring more opportunities in each regions that are coming from our partners.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sion. Now we are hearing Mrs. Sedo.
Yes, I think in addition, because I completely agree with my previous colleagues I had said, but I think the main added value is at two levels, because at the end, from the one side, us as entities that are part of this network, we are achieving or sharing experiences, we are sharing knowledge and also access to some other infrastructures. And at a second level, or and the other level is that we could offer to the users of our Catalan hub all the network. So in this way, we are sure that we could offer whatever they may need, because it's very difficult that at the end, one or other parts of this network would probably have some knowledge that could be useful. So there is, in conclusion, I mean, there are these two levels, one for us and the other for the Catalan companies accessing the hub, that will have also through us, that will be really easy for them, a big network of European RTOs and hubs.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sedo. Mr. Paolo Brizzi.
My previous colleagues, at the end, I foresee, and I hope so, that the main value added it will be for our stakeholder, so for the companies. Thanks to the network that we are aiming to create, business opportunity, sharing opportunities, also comparison opportunity among different entities across Europe. It will be a value added that all the company in Europe can leverage too. So at the end, the company wants to do business and optimize process and understand what is possible to do is the key in order to better perform at business level.
Thank you very much. Mr. Rosso?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for your question, and I completely underline what Paolo Brizzi just mentioned like 2 seconds ago, because at the end of the day, we are talking about companies, and they are for-profit organizations. So they want to develop resilient business model, and they want to be more competitive in this global world. The value chain are every day more integrated and more globalized. So the only way for surviving in this fast-paced, changing world is to develop networks, and this is specifically done by collaborating all over Europe.
Thank you very much. Mr. Fagin?
To me, the value is threefold, very briefly. The first one is to create ties between us, to foster ties between companies in our regions so that they can collaborate to push innovation forward, manufacturing excellence forward. The second is for us as supporting entities to learn from the other ones, so the best practices, services, infrastructure, everything we can learn, we will, for sure. And the third one is for us to offer to the other entities access to a specific ecosystem of entrepreneurship, a specific ecosystem of manufacturing that can add value to everyone else.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fagin. Now the turn of Mr. Stefano Miotto.
In my intervention, I talk about spreading knowledge in the enterprises. But I mean, this is not the only problem. We have to spread knowledge even in our organization, and this, I think, is the main mission that we have. And this is why my organization participated to more or less 100 European projects in the last 20 years, because learning in the comparison with the most advanced European region can be only of benefit for my organization than for the enterprises.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miotto. Mr. Cattorini.
Thank you. I will mention mainly also 3 points. The first is leverage on the network. We have the possibility to reach many SMEs. So we understood that a crucial role is the capability to be capillary in the territories. Second is related not on the numbers, but on the quality. This EDIC needs to provide services, added value services, innovative services. That means the capability also to have replicable services. And leveraging on best practice sharing that we can exchange among us is a way to be replicable and to repeat and customize on the specific needs. The third and last element is based instead on the different complementary focus on the technology. In our case, it's very important. The focus we have on HPC and big data processing allow us to be very complement to many of the others in the network, in the same time to share the common challenges with the others who have the same technology focus.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cattorini. Now we can have questions from public. Any questions? Yes, please. Would you like to tell us your name and company, please?
Biraghi, Confindustria Bergamo. Is there any thoughts you have about the complementarity of the European Digital Innovation Hub tender that will be published soon and the resiliency plan mission 1 and 4 of Italy on regards of Digital Innovation Hub, most in Italy? Thank you.
And the question for all speakers, for specifically for someone?
No, no, yes, for all speakers. No,
okay.
No, for all speakers.
Italian.
Anyone wants to answer first?
I can take it.
Yes, Mr. Fagin, please.
Thank you, Giacomo, for the easy question. I believe these are different legs to get to the same end results. European Digital Innovation Hub is a specific program for, let's say, advanced technologies in 2 specific target groups. The Italian, let's say, recovery fund, whatever the name is now, is more generic and needs to provide value to a broader range of technologies and let's say, economic groups. So these are 2 very complementary programs, in short.
Thank you very much. Anybody else from speakers want to answer the question?
No.
Yes, Mrs. Rossini?
I would add probably...
Setti, sorry.
I would add probably that, of course, those 2 dimensions, the European and the Italian, the national one is very important, but we must not forget that there is also the regional dimension, which is actually the rules and the drivers that guided, as you have seen, probably before the creation of our EDIH manufacturing networks. We actually have our roots in our regions, and we developed the network based on the also smart specialization strategies, which actually will drive also the cohesion funds that nurture both the European Digital Innovation Hub resources as well as the national one. So that's just a minor integration, not to forget also the regional and multi-regional side that actually guides the networks also.
Right, thank you very much. Any other question? From public? So I have a question if you want to briefly answer me, because we are going to have a lunch break and we are continuing with our day here in Villa Erba. I am wondering about the impact of EDIH on SMEs. The reality of SMEs fundamental in Italian economics. What do you say about this? Mr. Fagin, we are from Veneto.
I would give space to other ones if they prefer. Well, it's very important that the European Digital Innovation Hub can serve small and medium enterprises and even micro enterprises. The real challenge is how to do that. And in Veneto, as was exposed earlier, we had some experience in that, basically using advanced projects from larger companies or more advanced companies as beacons, let's say, for smaller ones, so that they can be inspired to innovate by these kind of projects, let's say.
Thank you very much. We are ending here this morning's session. I thank all the speakers. You were really, really effective with your speeches, and I can tell we learned a lot of things about digital innovation situation in Europe. It seems that there is a huge potential and huge, very effective network for a digital innovation in the future in Italy, in Europe. Thank you very much for being with us. And after lunch break, Andrea Cabrini will be with you for the next session. Arrivederci.